is Kim Jacobson. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm an attorney, and at 52 years of age, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. So one of the tests they use for Parkinson's disease is somewhat of a trust fall, although it's not exactly the trust fall that you think about. What the medical practitioner actually has you do is lean up against them, and then they leave, and they want to see if you can find your balance. So far, I've always found my balance. I'm hoping they would catch me if I fell. I'm sure they would. I don't have balance issues yet, but many people with Parkinson's do have balance issues. But I think this test is somewhat of a metaphor with living with Parkinson's, because it really is a constant balancing act. So I'm a curious person by nature. So when I was initially diagnosed with Parkinson's, I said there has to be a cure. There has to be a routine. There has to be something I can do. The doctors told me, well, we can give you carbidopa levodopa, and that is, the gold standard, and that's going to melt away most of your symptoms. And I said, So there's a lot of symptoms. I'm having mental health symptoms, I'm having digestive symptoms, I'm having problems with my hand, I'm having stiffness, I'm having a little tremor. This is going to melt away all my symptoms. I'm having pain in my lower back. And so I took the carbidopa levodopa, but I soon found that that wasn't going to melt away all my symptoms. It was a big help, but it wasn't going to solve all the problems. So I did a lot of researching to figure out what was going to be my magic formula, what was going to be the combination of things that was going to help me. And for me, what I found is that is the PD meds, also a good SSRI, mental health therapy, good nutrition, regular sleep, so important, exercise, chiropractic treatment, keeping up with hobbies like singing, and maintaining those close social connections with friends and family. For me, that's been my sort of magic little pill. And I remember when I saw my neurologist a few months ago, she said something that really irked me. She said, the best way to live with Parkinson's disease is have a very boring life. And I thought to her, I'm doing well and my life is not boring. So that is not what I want. I want a magical life. I don't want a boring life. I kept that thought in my back pocket. And then before Thanksgiving, I got really thrown off kilter. I had gone to my psychiatric APRN a few weeks before Thanksgiving, and I said, my SSRI that I'm on right now is working okay, maybe about 85 to 90% of the time. But 10 to 15% of the time, I feel like something upsets me or irritates me and I just can't shake it. And it kind of resonates on and on for a few days. And I wonder if there's something better out there for me. So I had gone on the SSRI that I was on at the time before I had gotten my Parkinson's diagnosis. My actually first major symptom of Parkinson's disease was anxiety and depression. And I had gone through several mental health meds before I had found the one that I was on. And it was a roller coaster finding the right med. We went on several. Some worked for part of the day, some worked not at all, some made me more depressed. They do say that psychiatric drugs each drug will work for about 30% of the people. So finding your drug could take several times. And so I remembered that it was not easy to go on and off, but I thought if there's something better, and now that they know that I'm diagnosed with Parkinson's, maybe there's something better out there. And she said, well, many patients with Parkinson's find that they do well on Wellbutrin because that deals with issues relating to dopamine, and that's an issue in people with Parkinson's disease, their levels of dopamine. So I said, okay, let's try it. So this was a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, and what you need to do when you're changing psychiatric meds is you taper off the first med before you start going on the second med. And so I tapered off the med I was on, and all of a sudden, things started pushing me off kilter. I just wasn't sleeping well, just even on a lesser dose of the same med that I had been on. And that was something that was not good. But I said, I gotta, go all the way. Maybe there's just gonna be an adjustment period. She said that the Wellbutrin might be good. One issue I was having is I would like to lose a little weight, and I was finding I had gained weight with the med I was on. So I thought, let me just keep trying it. So while I was tapering off the med, of course, Thanksgiving happened, and I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to get through this day? And I really leaned on my family a lot to help me with the cooking and kind of get through, and I made it through. But it was a hard day. It was a lot of energy that I didn't really have. But I said, well, I'm going to keep trying. And then a few other things sort of started getting off kilter. My cholesterol was high. That was something that I was kind of surprised about because I didn't have very much dietary cholesterol in my diet. I have been eating mostly a plant-based diet with a little bit of fish, and I was eating eggs. And so it wasn't really my diet that was causing the cholesterol. It could have been, genetic things. I don't have the greatest genes for cholesterol and heart issues. Not really sure what caused it, but she put me on some cholesterol medicine, so that was a change. And then I'm now paying very close attention. I've taken out egg yolks out of my diet to try to really lower my cholesterol to almost zero, my dietary cholesterol. So then the other thing that I was noticing was my blood pressure was a little raised, and I was like, what's going on with that? And I was like, well, I'm not sleeping and I'm kind of stressed out. It was also a really stressful time at work. My boss was retiring, and I was given a lot of new responsibilities, which I was very excited about and looking forward to, but it was just kind of a lot to take in, a lot of change. And it was challenging for my executive functioning. We, as many of you during the pandemic, have gone to a virtual platform. Although I'm going into work sometimes, a lot of the times I'm working from home, and even when I'm in the work, many times I'm working virtually. And so we have all new ways of communicating with each other, and spreadsheets and databases and direct messaging and emails, and sometimes it's a little overwhelming. And this new job required even more organization. And I always wonder, how is my executive functioning? Because what I was known for before Parkinson's disease was that executive functioning. I was super, super organized, able to take a lot of information and kind of put it into one, place. And that was sort of my jam, was organization. And so it was a little bit challenging. The other thing that was going on is after they said my cholesterol was high, they had me do a cardiac calcium scan, which was irregular. So they referred me to the heart doctor, who was monitoring the blood pressure and made some suggestions for changes in diet and taking out salt. And they're going to do a stress test. I still have that scheduled. But in the meantime, I've gotten my blood pressure down. I'm on the cholesterol meds. That seems to be working. And there was Omicron. I know everyone has different feelings about the pandemic in terms of their stress level and how much it affects their lives. For me, I have been a germaphobe for a lot of my life. I was always so nervous about getting sick, or about the kids getting sick when they were little, or even now. It makes me anxious to know someone is not feeling well. Other people with Parkinson's might relate to this. When I get a cold, it just seems like it really lingers for a very long time, that I just kind of have a trouble, I'm still not sniffling or coughing a few months later. It doesn't go away. And that I do think is somewhat related to the Parkinson's disease. And so I don't want to be sick, and I'm trying to avoid getting sick. And no one really knows, I guess, for sure how COVID would affect people with neurological conditions. And now I had this new heart condition, I guess. So I was just very anxious. And then, of course, both my sons got COVID. One who does not live with us, and one who does. And they were both quarantined, one into their room, one into their apartment. We ended up not seeing my family in December, my extended family, because I didn't want to have a chance of passing any Omicron on to my parents. My parents are older and have health issues of their own, and we just thought it was best not to meet in December. But it made me sad not to see my family in December. So it was just kind of a really rough month or so, and the Wellbutrin, although I thought it helped mental health wise and was good for lowering my appetite a little bit, I just felt wired all the time, and I was not sleeping, and I wasn't functioning as well as I could be. And I ended up deciding I'm going off the Wellbutrin, going back to the first psychiatric med, and then sort of slowly but surely everything kind of found equilibrium. I got used to the new functions at work. I started sleeping, which made everything better. I decided, okay, there are some things I am going to go out of the house for to kind of keep my sanity. One of those is my Pilates class that I really love, that I think helps me with my physical symptoms. And things started getting better, and the old med kicked in. And for me, that med is a game changer. It really helps me keep my mental stability. And I think that this stability and keeping everything sort of even-handed was really what the doctor was meaning to say. She was meaning to say that probably having a regular bedtime and a regular waking up time and having a regular diet and keeping things stable in your life is gonna be good for Parkinson's, because when life seems like chaotic, all the symptoms really get a lot worse. It doesn't mean that there can't be a little chaos here or a little chaos there. It just can't be everything chaotic at the same time, because when that was going on, I had this internal tremor, and it feels like you have a chronic sinus infection. So like my face was like pounding, and it was so hard to concentrate, and it was just really making everything difficult. But everything is going well now. Oh, one thing I sort of wanted to circle back around to was when I was sort of in this state, I went and saw the neurologist again. And her solution was, well, Kim, maybe you should take more medication for your Parkinson's. Maybe now's the time to take another med that will extend your meds and help them work better. She's like, or maybe talk to your psychiatric APRN and she can give you something to help you sleep. And I don't think the answer is always more meds. They're probably, you know, I'm not anti-med, obviously, because I'm taking Parkinson's med, I'm taking an SSRI, but I want to be really careful about not deciding every time things aren't going well, there's another symptom, there's this or that, that the jump is to more meds. Because at some time, you're going to be on all the meds you can take. So I said, you know what, I want to try to solve this problem without taking more meds. And that's exactly what I did. I found a way to get my regular sleep back. I went back to my old SSRI. I've noticed that I could take a quarter of a Benadryl and it helps me sleep at night. So there's things that I can do that doesn't mean I have to increase those Parkinson's meds right now or add another medication to my many pills that I already have to take a day, which I'm not that thrilled about. But I guess one thing it really was making me think about is this idea of balance. I think sometimes people think that chronic illness is very linear, that you get diagnosed, that you go to a medical treater, that you get treatment, that you feel better. And it's really not like that at all. It's not like that with Parkinson's, and I doubt it's like that with many chronic illnesses. Many people go years without getting this PD diagnosis. And then, you know, you can get treatment and some things are going to get better and some things are going to get worse and you're going to find something else. And you need to find the balance again. Find the balance that brings you to feel okay. And sometimes okay is as much as you're going to get for the day. Sometimes it takes all my energy just to get to okay. And sometimes it takes very little energy to feel great. But if you can get to okay, that's a place you can be at and maintain and have fun at and have a life at. So I think that's always my daily goal. Can I be okay today? And I am okay. And I think that it's fine to have some regularity in your life, some boringness, I suppose. It made me think about that. I hate having alarms for my medication. I have to take medication 3 times a day. And for the morning and evening meds, I just take them when I wake up and go to bed, which are at somewhat regular times. But the middle of the day med, I do set an alarm for. And it's a 2 o'clock alarm. And I think that people at work even kind of had noticed, oh, 2 o'clock, Kim's alarm is ringing. She's taking a pill. It's like nothing by now. But, you know, so there is some boringness and some, you know, maintaining regularness in my day. But the day is still, the day and the life, it's still a beautiful life. It's still a wonderful life, a full life. And I'm going to try to keep making it that way as long as I can. And I'm doing that by keeping balance. And I hope you can find some balance in your life too. Have a great day.